This is a part 2 lecture on why you should write in your books, otherwise known as annotating in a book. And surprisingly, there are people who believe it is a disgusting or even ugly act to actually, with a pencil, pen, or Sharpie, write in a physical book. This totally goes against the physical analysis of a book, our understandings of the property, and us being intellectuals and artists to fight back and to learn through an epistemological study. Those who fetishize books belong to a consumer culture materialism and don't even learn books. Instead, they hoard books as a sign of social signaling. Those who annotate and write books become transcendental and attack the text, as that I was previously discussing in my first lecture on why you should write in your books. If you have not seen that lecture, pause this video and go search that on Odyssey, BitChute, YouTube, or Google. But let me get into the wonderful world of why actually normie SJW feminists and women of all stripes of different pales of white all actually write in their book. And if you do a quick YouTube search, you'll find that everything from the traditional e-girl to the white girl with the tats and the big foreheads and the dyed hair, they love to make it out of an art, to basically abuse their books, because they're interacting with the text. This is classical Derrida-style deconstruction. I mean, as much as I don't like Derrida as being a despicable Jew, yeah, indoor joke if you get that, but here people are learning about why it's a beautiful act to embrace the text and to make more than just looking at a book, like looking at a television set. I Google searched that to see about annotating in a book, and here's a typical SJW white chick defending the notion of that you should annotate in your book, and those who think it's destructive are mentally ill, institutionalized cases. Pause the video for a second and read what she has to say. She can't get enough of annotating in books, from comments about how much she adores the characters to the novel, to the narrative, to research work. This is how you learn writing in your book. And again, as I said before in the previous lecture, even if it is borrowed from the library or your friend's book, you are doing them a favor as you write in their book because you are learning something. What if English is not your first language and you're trying to learn the English language? What if you found something really good passage that you're going to quote and citate in a future work? I found another video about I write in my books, why I annotate, and how I got started. Look at these YouTube comments celebrating this person who abuses their books. I really love how you explain about annotating. Books are just objects, and objects are not important. It's much more important what's in the book. And then there are people who are learning the error of their ways and understanding that because they own the book, the property, they can do whatever they want with it. They don't orbit the books orbit them. You know, if you could just pause the video and read some of these. This one woman talks about how the school institutionalized her and brainwashed her not to write in books because they're capitalist pigs who basically secure property. And they're afraid of all these fines and hierarchies of sorts. I think annotating in a book is a great experience, and I freely annotate in my books. It's normal. And another video that she did, I write in my books, how I annotate and highlight. This person wrote, "This is the most beautiful thing I have seen today. This is the most beautiful thing I have seen today." Writing in your books, that you can really learn something from them. Highlighting, putting stickers in them, writing. The same what I said in my first lecture on the matter. Who are these people against the book? Well, I had a very scathing argument saying that was disgusting, and this person made up a word calling it unaesthetic, or I've never heard, there's no such thing as the word unaesthetic, it's called ugly. How is it vapid and narcissistic? Let me show you the guy who talks about reading a book without taking notes. This unemployed millionaire scam artist that basically collects books as a social status swindling thing. And then, you know what his technique is? It's Rene Girardian mimemic desire, where he emulates, Robert Kiyosaki Rich Dad Poor Dad methods, looks at the book and then gets a notebook and write on the notebook about these, mind my crude language, fascistic learnings of silly mantras. That if you tell yourself, I am beautiful, isn't that a narcissistic exercise? He's not really writing the book. He's treating the book as a holy Bible. He is too afraid to deconstruct the text. He's celebrating this goofy notebook nationalism of assuming that he can't write in the book. And those who use notebooks and look, these are the arrogant frauds right here. Because they think the book is some holy object. They are orbiting the book. And they're saps. They're dependent saps. Now, I understand, like in my book collection, I have vintage brand new Answer Me magazines and, some books by Peter Sotos. Of course, they might sell on eBay for $100 a piece. Do I write in them? I do have the ability to write in them. Nobody else has them. But sometimes I like to keep them in good condition simply because they're too old and that they're collector's items. And often, if these books were mass-produced and less of like comic books or art pieces, no, these are art pieces, not books themselves, then I would write in them. All books are not art. Let me get to that. In Jackaloo's The Technological Society, everything will be mass-produced. Here's a picture of a landfill of books where the New Yorker got upset and saying, oh, how terrible this is. This is like some Ray Bradbury book burning. But this is just how useless the book industry is. Books are like people taking a dump every day, and it goes in the sewage. There's too much. This is the acceleration of postmodernism, of future transhumanism, of taking a vaccine to be tracked by the government. This is what Fusser was saying. Does writing have a future, or has videos conquered the medium of communications? That we're eclipsing the act that books are obsolete. Not all books are special and artistic like Jim Goad's Answer Me or Peter Soto's zines. These are collectibles and they're interesting and the people want them. Now, if they were mass-produced, I would write in them knowing that I can go back to Barnes & Noble's or Borders, I don't think Borders is still alive, or eBay and find it for $5. It's a little different when it's $200 because then you can make money. That's just, and also another argument, the concept of selling these as art pieces to make profit is a capitalist, greedy way of devaluing art. Yes, I know I could sell comic books and make $300 because they're brand new. And that's totally a profit incentive. To assume that you're going to come about Chicken Soup for the Soul, first edition, in a book landfill, and you think you're going to sell it for eBay for $30 or $50, $100, there is some goofy, institutionalized thinking that goes all the way back to the nerdy businessman who treats himself like a Sylvia Plath fascist, and that idiot who assumes that it's disgusting to write in your books. The disgusting narcissists believe books as a selling, they're the capitalist pigs. Those who defend books as objects of desire, they orbit books, and is the crux of neoliberalism. Whereas books orbit us, we destroy the petite bourgeois lifestyle. We are the cultured thugs. We are the intellectuals getting the text, writing in the books. It's not about the size of the paper either. It's about how we write our notes in the book. And that when we open the book, we see the date of when we access the book. We are questioning the sources of each property. This goes back to my lecture on the analysis of a physical book. This is why it's so important. We overcome the book. We're learning from it. And those who disagree with me are capitalist pigs. We need to destroy their petite bourgeois lifestyle. We are the intellectual culture thugs, and we will win over them. I promise you that. So, class dismiss. Thanks for listening, and keep writing in your books and learning something.